Hey there, it's Stephanie. You can see I've got Tom's latest free template, the notebook, on the screen. And the reason why is because I wanted to show you how you can customize awesome templates like this and well-designed graphics to use in your e-learning courses. Now, we all know that if you change the color theme, it's going to change the look and feel of the solid colors that are in this notebook, but you can also change the fills from a solid color to a gradient or a textured color and create effects like this. And it's just really as easy as changing colors. And I'm just going to click on the next slide so you can see. So here I've got a textured fill as the cover of the notebook. The tabs have a textured fill as well, and you can see that the rings on the binding also have a gradient fill, and that gradient fill creates a metallic kind of effect. I've put some clip art in and some text, but you can see that it dramatically changes the way that notebook looks. Now, if I didn't want to go through that process, I could just go to the design menu and change my color scheme. And by doing that, you can see as I'm sliding around here, it also affects the way that notebook looks. Now let me show you how I did the textures, and it does rely on you do need some good quality textures to do this, but you can find free textures on the internet. I'm just ungrouping all the objects here. You can find free textures on the internet. You can grab your camera and you can take your own pictures of nature, which often has some awesome textures that you can use too. Okay, so I'm right clicking on the cover of the notebook, and instead of having that solid theme fill of this kind of goldy yellow color, I'm going to change it to be a picture or texture fill. Now PowerPoint's going to fill it with whatever texture I last used, and in this case you can see it was a brown paper bag effect, and it's pretty cool actually, even for the report cover. Just by having a good quality texture, all of a sudden the notebook that looked computer generated, looked a bit like clip art, now is becoming more photorealistic. Now I don't want to use this actually for the front page. I'm going to change it and use a different texture. I have a bunch of different paper textures in my library, and I'm going to use this one here. And just click on Insert, and it's going to come in. Now it's a little slow on my computer because these textures are high-res textures, so they're big files. So there might be a slight delay. Okay, but that looks pretty good. Now the back part of the notebook, I'm going to keep that a solid fill, but I'm going to pick a different brown, this brown here, just so it complements some of the tones that are in that texture. And the tabs, I'm going to change them from solid to texture too. Now I'm going to grab that brown paper bag effect and use that on the tabs instead. And you're going to see why in a second, because it has some really cool edging on this particular effect. And it creates a kind of a worn look. So it almost looks like the tabs have already been, used quite a bit, and it has like a bit of a curved look on the texture. Now I don't want all three tabs to look the same, be the same color, so I'm going to change the bottom one to be, let's say green. Let's see if there's a green in the preset template here. There's a green, and then I'm going to change the middle one to be a red. So let's take a look at that. And again, my computer's running just a little slow here today. Okay, and I think that's it. So when I close out, you can see that just by having texture fills and working with picture colors, that this notebook looks quite nice and quite different from how it started out. Now the last thing that remains are these spiral rings, the binding. Now I'm changing these from a flat white into a gradient color because it's going to create a metallic realistic effect here, and I'm just going to show you how. You have to individually select each one of these, and just take one more second. There we go. I'm just going to go up to the Format menu in PowerPoint, and from the Shape Styles menu, I'm going to not select any of the themes that are going to pop up here. I'm going to go under Other Theme Fills and use, whoopsie, there it is, and use this kind of gold fill. So it's a gradient fill, and when I click off of the rings, you can see the effect. So it creates a metallic looking effect. So there you go. There's a notebook that looks quite a bit different than the original. I can play with solid colors, or I can fill it with textures and take it as far as I want. So hopefully you find that helpful, and hopefully you explore the other articulate templates and play around with what you can do with those objects too. Thanks.